I made the title, which is a Cain and field. The field is not just the empty field, but the field is which is for the harvesting field. So we can say garden, or we can say about um, agricultural land. Okay, let's read the Bible before we start. Can you read it?
So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate.
Yes. How treasury is that, isn't it? When Adam and Eve sinned, God lost his first son. Few days later, or few hundred days later, Adam didn't understand how God is painful to lose to him. But when Cain killed Abel, the Adam finally understand the heart of God when he lost the two sons. Why two sons? Abel lost his life. Cain was actually moved. God forced Cain to move other place. So because he cursed from the land again. The heart of the parent, even the child is not really good child, they don't want to see that my kids die first. Well, when Absalom died ahead of David, David is crying at the top of the roof like this. Can you read it?
Then the king was deeply moved, and went up to the chamber over the gate and wept. And as he went, he said thus, O my son Absalom, my son Absalom, if only I had died in your place. O Absalom, my son, my son.
Yes. This is when David is crying when he heard the news that his son died in the battle. You know why Absalom died? Do you remember the story? Absalom actually made a coup d'etat to kill his father. His father is flee from the Absalom, and he went to one small castle, and Absalom's many troops of the army came against his father to kill, because he tried to get the kingship from the Israel. And the warrior and the generals and the army of David and much more army of Absalom, they fight in the field. And David is asking to his soldier, please do not kill my son. Well, even the son tried to kill the father. Father cannot kill the son. But when he knows that his son died, and he cried out like this, and I got touched. If only I had died in your place. That was the heart of the father. Well, this scripture is coming out in other verse too. Can you read it?
But the king covered his face, and the king cried out with a loud voice, O my son Absalom, O Absalom, my son, my son.
Yes. Even that son tried to kill himself. There's no difference as his son died and he cried out. That was the heart of the God when he lost his son. And also that was the heart of the Adam. But God really replaced his life for the people, and he died for us. David was not able to let Absalom resurrected, but God gave up his life, and he gave us his life. Well, when Abel died because of Cain killed him, the heart of Adam was really broken. Well, when Cain choose the son and kill his brother. That was a rare time that Adam properly understand the heart of God. When Adam gave birth of Cain, the Bible described this way. Can you read it?
Now Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from the Lord.
Yes. The Adam was so happy. Actually, the word, the from, this from, the word is actually the right interpretation is with. So meaning to say, I have acquired a man with the Lord. Meaning to say, my son is whose son? Son of Lord. He was so happy. Well, do you understand about Cain? Who is him? Cain is the son of Adam, right? And what do you know about the Cain more? Yes. Yes, he killed his brother. First murder of the history of the human race. And do you know anything more? Yes. We just remember Cain as a brother of Abel who killed Abel. That's it. And who gave the sacrifice with the many fruits. And who didn't follow the God. And we just to understand that way. But I look at the Bible more closer. Who is Cain? When Adam and Eve made a sin and become sinner, God gave the curse to the Eve and Adam. You know what kind of curse God gave to the Adam? He gave this kind of curse. Can you read it?
Then to Adam he said, because you had heeded the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In toil you shall eat it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you. And you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground.
Yes. What is the curse to the Adam? Yes. Adam got the curse from the ground. What we can see from here, God never cursed Adam or Eve, but God cursed the ground. And ground will make many weeds and thorn, so that Adam should do the labor a lot to eat the food from the ground. In other words, Adam got the curse, kind of he must be a farmer. Well, life of farmer, because my auntie, their family was farmer. So every summer I go down and I do the farmer's work. When they plant the rice, I help. It is not easy. It's just very, very hard. Even now, the farmer's life is not easy because you really need to work hard. Their hands is very tough and no one appraises their labor. And is there any people here who wants to be a farmer? No one, isn't it? Yes, because the income is not that good too. Well, when God cursed the land, and the curse who need to handle is Adam must handle the curse of the ground. And Adam is the one who give all the effort. And the Bible records this way. Can you read it?
Then she bore again, this time his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground.
Yes. In other words, Cain become a farmer. Actually, in that picture, that is Abel, and Cain is there, but it was cut. So, but just with your imagination, when Adam is working hard, Cain was sitting down there how to plant. So Cain become a farmer. What does it mean? If like Richard is business person, and if his business is getting bigger, his son will inherit the business, isn't it? So firstborn is going to have the business. Same as now Adam is giving all the effort to feed their family with the ground, struggling from the curse of the God. Now the first son, Cain, become a farmer. The Bible says that now Abel was a keeper of sheep. In other words, Abel becomes shepherd and Cain become the farmer. Then after that, the time passed and we can see and focus how they worship the God, isn't it? Can you read it?
And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord.
Yes. We see here Cain bring the offering, the fruit of ground, to the Lord. I was thinking why Cain brought the fruit. Because he has kind of mind here. Lord, you see, you curse the ground. And I carry that curse. I do my best to harvest this fruit out of your curse. Lord, look at me. I bring you this. This is all my effort. He was kind of mine, which is a rebel to the God. In same time, he's not following the instruction of the God. Well, which is easier to do a farmer or to do a shepherd? Which is it looks like easier? Killing the sheep is easier, or harvesting the fruit is easier? Harvest is easier. To harvest, you should work for a year. But killing sheep, you just choose the firstborn of the sheep and you just kill it and you give the offering. Actually, farming is much harder than take care of the sheep. So he must remove all the thorn and the weeds, and endless time he must hoe the ground. So it was not easy. So he is thinking that, Lord, this is more precious than the sheep. Well, giving the first fruit is not really out from the Bible, because the Bible also says that you need to give the first fruit to the Lord. Can you read it?
The first of the first fruits of your land you shall bring into the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk.
Yes, the first of the first fruit of your land you shall bring into the house of the Lord your God. But it doesn't mean that you can give the fruit as a sacrifice. Sacrifice means someone should die for you and the blood is necessary. So for the burnt offering, we cannot give the fruit. And Cain understood about it more properly. Well, he carried his effort, but he should not bring his effort because somebody should replace his sin, and it should be the Jesus, and he must give the representing the Jesus like a goat or the sheep. But he refused. He bring his own righteousness. Well, finally, as you know the story very well, the offering of the Cain, God didn't accept it, and God accept only the sacrifice of the Abel. Let's read the Bible and let's see closer. Can you read it?
Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat. And the Lord respected Abel and his offering. But he did not respect Cain and his offering. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell.
The reason he got really angry is because the offer he gave to the God was not easy things. It needs many patience. And he worked hard for it. But God seems not respect. Actually, the word respect is a seeing. So it means that God even didn't see his offering. God saw the offering of the Abel and burnt it from the heaven, the fire come down and burn everything. But the offering of Abel, he didn't even see it. So what happened? His countenance fell. What does it mean? The original words of his countenance fell, it means that he his face was fall down like this, and he got really angry. He was really angry, and the anger was inside. Well, we can see how he got disappointed. How he disappointed, I mean. When you prepare something good for your loved ones, and when you try to give, and if that loved one says that, okay, never mind, will you happy? And if you prepare that for a year, will you happy? No, isn't it? The Cain was really disappointed from the God. But we need to focus on the Bible. God never pleased Abel. He just accepted it. When Cain got angry and his face is turned down, immediately God comes to the Cain and speak. God speak this way. Can you read it?
If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should rule over it.
Yes. There are three advice and three sentence we can see it. Let's just say, if you do well, will you not be accepted? Well, actually, accepted is like this. The word is nasa. Original word is nasa, not accept. Nasa is rise your head. So Korean version of Bible says that if you do well, why don't you head up? Why you bow down your head? So if you do well, will you not accept it? If you do have done right, why are you bowing your head? Meaning to say, his head was still down. So when his anger is there and when he bowing down his head with anger, God is coming. If you did well, what does it mean? If you follow my instruction, your head will not be down. Your head will be up. Do you understand? If you do not do well, sin lies at the door. What does it mean? It seems like this. If he doesn't do good things, when he opened the door and when he need to go out from the door, sin is at the door. You cannot escape from the sin. Meaning to say like this. When he tried to open it, the sin is right there. So, in other words, in this verse, we can say and we can understand about the creation too. The people is asking God, Lord, you know already that people will fallen and people will die and people will choose the sin. Then why did you create the world? And God's answer is with to the Cain. What does he say then? If you do not do well, sin lies at the door. Because of creating the world, creating the earth was good thing for the God. So he must do it. He knows that Cain will kill the Abel, but for both of them, God sent to the world, although Abel died by the Cain. He knows it, but creating them was not bad things, but it was good things. That is the reason why God created the world, God created you, and He created me too. Well, so we must not have excuse that why God made the world, although He knows that this tragedy everywhere will happen. Why? If He doesn't do good, the sin lies at the door. Meaning to say, more sin will be happen. Well, we understand this in the James chapter 4, verse 17. Can you read it?
Therefore, to him who knows to do good and does not do it, to
Yes.
him it is sin.
Yeah. It says that, therefore, to him who knows to do good and does not do it, to him it is sin. So if God knows that what is a good thing, and if he don't create the world, that is what? Sin to him. Same way, there's a reason why God created the world, and he didn't stop creating the world. Well, we have many tragedy, and sometimes we have a question mark to God. Lord, what happened? What happened to my life? But you must remember, he did good things. He did right things. So you should really trust him because he has a plan on you. But let's check it. But you should rule over it. What does it mean? And its desire is for you. What is it? The desire of the sin. This desire, the desire here is the word from the teshuka, which is a teshuka, which means desire, longing, and craving. Teshuka is coming out only 3 times in the Bible. What does it mean? Desire. Why we sin? Because the desire of sin is in us. But God says that we must to rule over it. Same word was given to the Cain. Well, I said 3 times come out, right? So after this, 2 more verses we can check. Can you read it?
To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desires shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you.
Yes. In the beginning, who desire more among Adam and Eve? Do you think Eve desire more the husband, the Adam, or Adam desire more to Eve? I mean, who love more? Adam, that's right. Adam, how do we know? Even follow? Him? Eve, yeah, that's right. And in the Bible, when Eve was created, and Adam is speaking about Eve like this. Can you read it?
And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man.
Yes. Adam was there first, before Eve is there. So Eve is like a one he needs to give more love. When Eve gave the fruit, do you think that Adam didn't know about what that is, or he knows it? He knows, yes. We can read some words from the Ellen G. White. Can you read it?
She was part of himself, and he could not endure the thought of separation. He did not realize that the same infinite power, who had from the dust of the earth created him a living, beautiful form, and had in love given him a companion, could supply her place. He resolved to share her fate. If she must die, he would die with her.
Yes. Well, Adam knew that if he eat that, he gonna die with that woman. He didn't like to have another woman, but because that was his flesh, because she was his bone, so he chose, he desired more about the Eve than the God. So what happened? Now, when man desired the woman, woman led the man to the sin. Now God switched the desire. So this is saying that your desire shall be for your husband, meaning to say that Eve will love more the husband. Richard, do you love Jen more or Jen loves you more? Me more. Okay. Wow, wow. But that's not biblical because in the Bible says that the woman loves the man more. Yes. Anyway, it depends on the people, but well, let's just say the third one is like this. Can you read it? In Songs of Solomon?
Am I beloved, and his desire is toward me?
Yes. I am my beloved, meaning to say I am belongs to the Jesus. and his desire is toward me. The love of Jesus is on me. So this is the tragedy started. What is the tragedy? It's like this. Man desire sin, God desire man. So this is when it become man desire God, God desire man. This is a really good match, isn't it? But it becomes something wrong because of sin enter between the God and the man. So when it become God, that is new heaven and new earth and new creation. Well, uh, let's go to next verse. And this is from the Ellen G. White. Okay, can you read it about the Cain?
But Cain cherished feelings of rebellion and murmured against God because of the curse pronounced upon the earth and upon the human race for Adam's sin.
Well, when the earth got cursed and his father's work as a farmer, when Cain took over the work, his life is not easy. He must wake up very early in the morning. He must take out all the weeds, and every day there are many works are waiting for him. Do you think Cain will be happy or not? Yes, he never had happiness. Because he was thinking, he take over all the curse from the ground, from his father. So working as a farmer was not really happy things for him. So look at this. Cain cherished a feeling of rebellion and murmured against God because of the curse pronounced upon the earth and upon the human race for the Adam's sin. Every time he do the work, he increased his murmuring against the God. So when God reject the fruit from the ground, he was so much angry. Bible says that the end of the anger, what happened? Can you read it?
Now Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and killed him.
Yes. So when I check the original word of field, that's the sade. Sade means not just ordinary field like an empty field, but that is actually agricultural land. So when you read the Bible like Genesis chapter 3:18, can you read it?
Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field.
Yes, the herb of the field. The field means the garden that you need to harvest. So when Cain is working in the field for agricultural, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and killed him. Meaning to say, he's still working hard, and he saw his brother bring the sheep. So it means like, I'm working this hard. You don't do anything. And he got angry, and he rise, and he killed his brother. Why? Because he didn't like, because he was thinking God is unfair. God never accept his offering, but Abel's offering. Although who is working hard, Cain or the Abel? Cain himself, yes. Well, when he started to hate someone, especially brother, finally he killed the brother. So in 1 John chapter 3, verse 15, I understand this. Why? Because there is a Cain. Can you read it?
Whoever hates his brother is a murderer, and you know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him.
Yes. So it is not really bad words or wrong words. Why? Because when whoever hates his brother is a murderer. Like whom? The Cain. Because that was really happened. And it proved from the Genesis this word is right. So the garden, to the Adam and Cain, especially Cain, The relationship Phil and him was a love-hate relationship to Cain. What is that love-hate relationship? He hates, but in the same time, he loves. He hates the ground, but he cannot give up the ground. Every time he works harder and harder, his relationship with God is separating. So what God gives the curse to the Cain is this kind of curse Cain received. Can you read it?
So now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. A fugitive and a vagabond you shall be on the earth.
Yes. In first view, I didn't know why God cursed the ground again about the Cain. He says that when you till the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. Meaning to say, when you do the farming work, ground will not give you any fruits anymore. I was thinking why? Why God is cursed the Cain this way? Now I understand. Because every time Cain do more agricultural work, farming the field, his relationship with the God is getting farther and farther because he makes his anger from the work of the farming work because for him, farming is not blessing anymore. So God says that you stop farming. Why? You and me will break the relationship. Cain is the person looking the ground. He loved the fruit from the ground. And he's the person who can even offer the fruit from the ground to the God. But when he cannot see the sky, the heaven, when he always see the ground, he see the curse that God gave to the ground. So his life was not able to see the love of God. And finally, he against the God. Well, Ellen G. White write before the one we read. Can you read it?
Cain and Abel, the sons of Adam, differed widely in character. Abel had a spirit of loyalty to God. He saw justice and mercy in the Creator's dealings with the fallen race, and gratefully accepted the hope of redemption. But Cain cherished feelings of rebellion and murmured against God because of the curse pronounced upon the earth and upon the human race for Adam's sin.
Yes. Abel has a mind loyal to the God. And Abel tried to understand the God, meaning to say his eye was focused on the God. When Abel focused on the curse on the ground. Well, when the land again was cursed, the Cain got cursed from the land, he lose everything. He love-hated relationship with the ground was broken. He always look at the ground, but God said, don't look at the ground anymore. He take all the power from the ground, which is ground will give to the Cain. So Cain lost the land. Maybe that time, Cain understand the heart of God when God lost Abel because of his sin. Well, what do you think? God hate Cain or God loved Cain? If you're one of the children, kill other children, what will you do with that children? You will kill that one too, or you will give more love to him? Bill, what do you think? No idea? Yeah. It's not easy to think about it, isn't it? Yes. But I could see the God who loved this murderer Cain until the end. God never gave Cain up. Can you read this?
And the Lord said to him, therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark on Cain, lest anyone find him should kill him.
Cain was afraid if somebody killed him, and God gave him mark on Cain. I really didn't understand about this mark. What kind of mark God gives? But when I see the heart of God, I'm sure about this mark is the mark that God loves even murderer. God cares the life of murderer. God cares about the sinners, and God gives this mark of love that He still love and He still care this sinner. This mark means that God also protect the sinner, even murderer. Even God cares about the life of murderer. So it shows the heart how God deal with a sinner and showing the love of God. But Cain got the mark of God, the love of God in him. And he got many mercy. But he never cared about the grace of God. Now he become an ancestor who against the God. What about the Abel? Well, Abel, what do you know about the Abel? We know Cain is murderer. Abel is what? The victim of murder, isn't it? Do you know the name of the son of Abel? You never heard it because he died because he got married. So look at in the view of the word, Abel is a person who just born and died. That's it. He didn't do anything. Well, in the Bible, he just worshiped God in right way and he died. But just once, when his sacrifice was accepted by the God, it means many things. And he even in the ancestor of the faith. Jesus called him Abel as a righteous. Can you read it?
That on you may come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of whom you murdered between the temple and the altar.
The action of this Abel, every time when the people explain about the faith, they say about Abel first. And Abel, in the Old Testament, he come out just a few times. But in New Testament, the New Testament mention about Abel many times. Although Abel just died in few days later. It says in Hebrew, but Paul is speaking like this. Can you read it?
By faith, Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, through which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and through it, he being dead still speaks.
Yes. By faith. What is a faith again? What is faith? Listen, keep, and do it. Yes. So when Abel listened from the God and keep it, and when do it as an instruction from the God, it was become righteousness for him. And even he died, his faith is still what? Speaks. So I speak about the Abel because he got proper faith. Abel might know how his brother hate him. Well, even though he was killed by his brother and lived for the short time, and he come up in the Bible for the short time and die, but his result of his faith, for many people can learn the faith, what the faith is. What is right worshiping? We worship here all together now, but some of our faith is not right faith. And some of our faith never accepted by the God. Some of our worshiping may not accepted by God when we not follow the way how we need to worship Him. We need to worship Him with the Spirit and the truth. If you don't have a Spirit, if you don't have a truth, then what will be your righteousness without the truth, without the faith? So, blood of the Abel, representing all the people who die to keep their faith. The reason Abel's blood is a precious, sure, his blood is a nothing. But when God sees his faith and precious, the one who become mediator, because there is another blood, the blood of the Jesus. Okay, can you read it?
To Jesus, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaks better things than that of Abel.
Yes. The blood of the sprinkling, whose blood is that? Jesus, yes. Speaks better things than whose blood? Abel's blood. So Abel's blood, the faith, more than the faith, the sacrifice of the Jesus was important to us more. Ellen G. White speaks this way. This is the longest two things that we can read together. Can you read it?
So far as birth and religious instruction were concerned, these brothers were equal. Both were sinners, and both acknowledged the claims of God to reverence and worship. To outward appearance, their religion was the same up to a certain point. But beyond this, the difference between the two was great. By faith, Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain. Abel grasped the great principles of redemption. He saw himself a sinner, and he saw sin and its penalty, death, standing between his soul and communion with God. He brought the slain victim that sacrificed life, thus acknowledging the claims of the law that had been transgressed. From the shed blood, he looked to the future sacrifice, Christ dying on the cross of Calvary, and trusting in the atonement that there was to be made. He had the witness that he was righteous and his offering accepted.
Yes. 1,000 times we have worshiping the Sabbath. 1,000 times maybe we join for the worship. Well, religious instruction were concerned, these brothers were equal. So meaning to say, we have looks like equal. Both were sinners, and both acknowledge the claims of God, reverence, and worship. Yes, two group we worship to the God. Same way, you worship, I worship, isn't it? But what was different? To outward appearance, their religion was the same up to the certain point. What point? We come up and worship. But beyond this, the difference between the two was great. By faith, offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than the Cain. Meaning to say, if we don't have faith on Him, even you worship, I worship, it won't be accepted by the God. That's why it's not easy things. Well, where do you looking at now? Your life, where do you focus? Money matter in the world? Do you looking at the ground or do you looking at the heaven? If we looking at the earth, if we looking at our life, we cannot see the love of God. We have too many problems in our life. If we focus on those curses, we will be aparted. We will be separated as like Cain did before. So Peter is saying this way. Can you read it?
Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth in which righteousness dwells.
Yes. The Christian is not the people who look at the ground as a Cain. They're the people who look at the heaven, new heaven and new earth. We have a two focus. Well, we can see the ground anytime. And when we see the earth, we always looking at the ground. But only those people who has a spiritual eye, we can see the heaven. Why? Because we cannot see the heaven. Only through the eyes of spirit, we can look at the heaven. I hope all of us here, we focus not the ground, but the heaven tonight. Let's pray.